For me, it shows validation that there's some sort of intelligent response that comes through the... Hi guys, my name's Psychic Medium AJ Barrera. I'm a paranormal investigator and intuitive counselor. What I do, I connect with loved ones who have passed over into the spirit world. Can you step forward, please? Can you make one of these devices? I heard that too. But I also give advice of what's going on in a person's life more on a psychic reading. So if it's about an energy, what's going around them, about their career, relationships, things of that nature, I tune into that vibration. Today, we are going to be sharing some of the equipment that I do use on some of my investigations when I do some ghost hunting. So this is a Periscope 360. And the way you turn this thing on, it glows in the dark, it pops on, it will pick up information or energies that are around in the spirit realm. So if I ask, Spirit, can you light this device? Can you make it go red? It may light up going red. Can you make it go blue? Can you make it go green? It will turn up these different colors to pick up that vibration. It's about having some sort of either validation for me, because I may sense and feel something when I do this work or when I work with these devices, but more importantly, it validates what I'm feeling or what other people are feeling during that investigation. This is called a pyramid. I've used this device quite often, especially if we use it for locations, if they're abandoned, if there's not a lot of activity, because what we want to realize that what's coming through, is it a rat, a rodent, a raccoon that's kind of causing these devices to go off. And this is one of the devices I will use quite often. How I'm going to demonstrate how it works is just, it will show what energy is around, how strong or where it's coming from, if there's something high above, and it will show either like human activity or either spirit activity. And it will measure on here of, like, say if it's -2 or if it's, you know, a 5, I don't even know what it's showing to me, but it's based upon the energy of how much that's around you. And it's going to validate the existence of some sort of spirit activity that's happening in that very moment. So the phonopod is something that I use a lot on my investigations. It's usually for EMFs. Most likely I want to kind of like validate if like someone's stomach is growling, if someone has wrappers in their pocket. The phonopod is actually very sensitive and actually picks up very low frequencies or high frequencies of that vibrations. Many times when I do investigations, this is probably one of my go-to for EVPs, because I'm just kind of doing my thing. This is up on a recorder or it's up in a location, and it's just recording for 6 hours. And we may come back to that location where no one's in that room or in that building specifically, where we'll pick up that vibration or that spirit voice. One thing I love about EVPs are when there's an intelligent response or a disembodied voice. A disembodied voice is where spirit speaks directly. You can hear it from the naked ear. It's not something that's like white noise. It's not something that's made up. It's not something that's generated through any other frequencies. So when we do have those responses, this is probably one of my go-to to have that validation. So this is basically a Ouija board in layman's terms. It's not your typical Ouija board that's wooden or the way that we use it with a planchette and you would actually move around. This is used basically through frequencies and energies. And so the way this board works is that I've only used it maybe in 3 investigations, 3 locations. I haven't really got much of like a great validation where I'm like, oh my God, it's spelled out like James, or it's spelled out like no. We have got yes or no answers, and basically the way how it works is that when we turn this on, the wheel should move and these light up here. And so if when we ask questions or responses, we should get a response like, is anyone here? It will light up yes, it will light up blue, yes, or light up no, or it'll spell out certain words and it'll spin around lighting up blue colors. Typically we want to use this device in the dark because it does glow in the dark, and plus we have these edited to the light styles that are here that will help see the information that's coming through. So the next device here is actually a spirit box. It's basically a regular radio that is generated to have spirit communicate through the white noise. And what we typically see on certain ghost hunting shows or television shows, we actually have this as being running through different investigations. What people don't understand about the spirit box or with the device here itself is that you actually have to have a full-on conversation with this, meaning spirit has to speak through that white noise or through the frequencies through that. And the way it works is that I think it scans, in 0.3 seconds, 7 different stations. So it's not really possible to actually get the same voice on maybe 7 different stations that are coming through. So if you're asking an intelligent response of saying like, where are we located? And it says like California, or it says Utah, or it says the location of that place, we know there's some sort of intelligent response. So we're not really focusing on the words of the radio station, but what's coming through in between the frequencies. I want to turn this on here. And what's going to happen here is you're going to hear frequencies where it may scan through those radio stations. So we're going to start this here and we're going to do a sweep rate. So basically it's a speed of how you want the information to come through. You don't want it too slow because then you're going to pick up all that information from, say, radio stations or things of that nature. You want to have that information come through very quickly, so you know that information is coming through from maybe the spirit world or coming from an energy or the location that is residual of the ground or the location that you're investigating here. Perfect example is like, say, can you say my name? There. Thanks. Okay, so, and then we want to have a conversation. So say for instance that we want to ask like, what color shirt am I wearing? We will wait for that response to come back. And so all that you're hearing in between is actually those radio frequencies. What you want to listen to are the words, like a full-on word or full-on sentence that's coming through. It takes a lot of energy for a spirit to demonstrate that for us. So when it comes through in a perfect moment, perfect timing for investigation, and it will say like, hey, my name's John, or, you know, I'd passed from a suicide. It will come through in that form in a full-on sentence. So we know that's an intelligent response, but there's some sort of energy that's coming through. So this is a Geo Pot here, and quite often they use this for, I believe, like for ground movement, for earthquakes and things of that nature. What I like to use are for locations that are abandoned or places that are not investigated that often, where there's not a lot of residual energy. Quite often when we use a Geo Pot, it's used for some sort of frequency or vibration that's causing maybe some sort of poltergeist or either some sort of either like aggressive or a malicious or mischievous energy. We'll use this. And so a great example of how this works is that when we turn this on, it should be vibrating to my voice. Let me see here. Yes, it should be vibrating. So if I'm holding this, it will start vibrating because of that vibration of my voice. We can change those frequencies as well to either say movement. So if we want to set this Geo Pot up on the stairs or stairwell, because say there's a possession or some sort of energy that haunts that location specifically, we'll set the Geo Pot there and also an X cam for that frequency to go off. So we know either something is being very aggressive that's causing this to shake or move quite often, or something's running, or two, if it's just something that's being stationary, or it's not gonna vibrate the energy, which is a perfect example, because I don't think it's lighting up now, but if I have it in my hand again, it will vibrate. It will pick up that vibration from my voice. This would be a perfect example. So if I leave this on the ground here at a specific location, say a bedroom, we know no one's entering that room, we know no one's gonna be going in there, so we know it's stationary. It's not moving, it's not lighting up, it's not changing any colors. But if we know that someone's walking, or someone's tiptoeing, it will pick up that vibration. So basically it will pick up if anything's moving or anything's causing some sort of vibration in the ground. And typically I look at things too as well. Again, I look at everything when I do my investigations. Is it the plumbing? Is it the piping underneath the ground that's causing this to go off? Did someone flush the toilet that's making this vibrate? So I try to look at things in the right light and right perception, and not always thinking everything's paranormal or everything's negative. But this is a great example. Again, like a great example, we set this up in a room, and if something's very loud, it falls, boom, the camera will capture it. Or two, if someone's walking or someone's talking, it will light up. So this is an Ovilus. This device is used quite often when I want to kind of communicate with those spirits or those energies that are passed over. And with the Ovilus X, it actually demonstrates words that come through. So if we're talking about, say, a location that was burned down, the Ovilus may bring through words of dictionaries of saying burn, or may say family, or the location of where things may have happened. The way it works is that you just pop it on here, and it should go into dictionary mode. And with that, we can ask a question and say, is anyone around us? Can you say a name? Can you say a location? And if we do get a response back, which we would call this as an intelligent response, and that would say, like, say, BuzzFeed, you know what I mean, if that was in the dictionary. So this is one of my favorite devices here. One of the most spookiest experiences that I had with the Ovilus, it's one of my favorite devices. It was actually on a recent investigation that I've done maybe about 3 weeks ago. And it was actually at a location where the house was burned down. On a location, we were asking, like, what happened here? You know, what happened at this location? And it's at bathroom, and we're standing in front of the bathroom, and I believe that's where the fire happened. And so I was asking the questions and saying, like, you know, is there any other evidence you can bring through? And it's at burned. And so afterwards, when that information came down, we were all saying goodbye, and the producers were there, things of that nature. And when we said goodbye, it says thank you, and then it said friend. And so for me, it shows validation that there's some sort of intelligent response that comes through the... But there's some sort of intelligent response when this thing speaks. So I love the Ovilus because sometimes you don't really know what's going to come through because you have to expect the unexpected.